Your face is in a database right now. You didn't put it there, didn't consent to it, and there is no way to find out how many databases have it. And somewhere in America, a police department is running that database right now, looking for a match. 6 people have already been handcuffed, placed in a police car, and taken to jail for crimes they didn't commit. No witness put them at the scene. No physical evidence connected them to anything. The only thing that put them in that cell was an algorithm that said it was them. It wasn't. And here's the part that should scare you. Not one of those 6 people was warned it was coming. This is how facial recognition gets people arrested. This is what the law actually says about it, and this is what you need to know before it happens to you. Let's start with what facial recognition actually is. When a crime is caught on camera, police can take that image and run it through a facial recognition system. The algorithm scans millions of photos, driver's licenses, mugshots, social media, surveillance footage, and returns a list of potential matches, ranked by similarity score. An analyst looks at the results and decides whether to pursue an arrest. Simple, fast, and profoundly unreliable. A 2019 study by the National Institute of Standards and Technology tested 189 facial recognition algorithms. The results were disturbing. The best algorithms misidentified black faces at rates between 10 and 100 times higher than white faces. The technology that is being used to put people in handcuffs performs worst on the faces of the people it is most often used against. That's not an opinion, that's a federal study. Now let's talk about the people it has already destroyed. Robert Williams was standing in his driveway in Detroit in January 2020 when 2 police officers pulled up and arrested him in front of his wife and daughters. He was taken to a detention center and held for 30 hours. The charge was robbery. He had never been near the store that was robbed. The only reason he was arrested was that a facial recognition system matched his face to a blurry surveillance photo. An analyst confirmed the match. Nobody verified it against anything else. Nobody knocked on a door or talked to a witness first. They just came and took him. He was innocent. The charges were eventually dropped, but he spent 30 hours in a cell because an algorithm was wrong. He wasn't alone. Michael Oliver was arrested in 2019 for allegedly snatching a phone during a road rage incident in Michigan. The facial recognition system matched him. He was charged. He spent months fighting the case. He lost his job during that time. He couldn't work. The charge was eventually dismissed, but only after a defense attorney dug into the evidence and realized the match was wrong. Nijir Park spent 10 days in jail in New Jersey in 2019 after facial recognition identified him as a suspect in a shoplifting and assault case. He had never been to the town where it happened. He had receipts proving he was 30 miles away. He still spent 10 days in a cell before the case collapsed. These are not rare edge cases. These are the documented ones, the ones where someone fought back hard enough to get the truth out. Here's what the law says, or more accurately, what it doesn't say. There is no federal law in the United States that regulates how police can use facial recognition. None. There is no requirement that police verify a facial recognition match before making an arrest. There is no requirement that they tell a defendant that facial recognition was used as evidence against them. There is no federal standard for how accurate a system has to be before law enforcement can use it. The Fourth Amendment protects you against unreasonable searches and seizures, but courts have not yet established clear rules for when using facial recognition to identify and arrest someone crosses that line. The law has not caught up with the technology, and people are going to jail in that gap. Some cities have acted on their own. San Francisco banned government use of facial recognition in 2019. Boston followed. Detroit has restricted it. But in most of the United States, a police department can run your face through an algorithm, get a match, and come to your door without any additional verification required. So what do you do if this happens to you? First, if you are arrested, invoke your right to remain silent immediately. You've heard this before. It matters even more here, because if the evidence against you is an algorithmic match and nothing else, the worst thing you can do is make statements that get used to fill in the gaps in a weak case. Second, demand to know what evidence was used to identify you. Your attorney can file discovery requests that force prosecutors to disclose whether facial recognition was used. In some jurisdictions, police have tried to hide this. Courts have increasingly held that defendants have a right to know. Third, challenge the match. Facial recognition evidence is not like DNA. It is not definitive. It is a similarity score generated by software. Defense attorneys have successfully argued that facial recognition matches alone are insufficient probable cause for an arrest. The more documented cases of false matches exist, the stronger that argument becomes. Fourth, if you are wrongly arrested and the charges are dropped, you may have a civil rights claim under 42 U.S. Code Section 1983, which allows individuals to sue government officials for constitutional violations. Robert Williams filed a lawsuit against the city of Detroit. These cases are being fought, and some of them are being won. Here's what makes this different from every other wrongful arrest story. When a human witness misidentifies someone, there's a person to question. There's a memory to challenge. There's a cross-examination. When an algorithm misidentifies someone, there's a black box, a similarity score, software that the company may not even be required to explain in court. You can't cross-examine an algorithm. And right now in most of America, that algorithm has more power over whether you go to jail than any witness ever did. The technology moved faster than the law. The arrests happened before the rules were written, and the people who paid the price for that gap were ordinary people standing in their driveways, driving to work, living their lives. Your face is already out there. The question is whether the law will catch up before the algorithm gets it wrong again. Now, you know what happens if it does.